No food stamps in November. So I expect every church to have a food bank. If you go to a church and they don't have a food bank, now is the time to ask why.
I'm tired of struggling all of my fucking life! Oh my god! Fuck! Can life just get fucking easy? Just for like a year, just for a little bit, you think at some point life is just supposed to be like better. You work your at every turn of your fucking life, there's another obstacle. Oh my god, please, please help us all! What the fuck is going on?
We're not feeding the babies we have. Why does the government want more? We're not feeding the babies we have. Why does the government want more? I know you're thinking, what's your statistic? Where's your proof that we're not feeding the babies we have? Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that my toddler's daycare just opened a food bank in the fucking lobby? My toddler's daycare just opened a food bank in the fucking lobby because his classmates might not be able to eat. We got the government. Who's in charge of SNAP benefits? The government that's in charge of food. The government that decides where our fucking money is gonna go is gonna give $40 billion to Argentina. They're gonna build a fucking ballroom to have big old gilded dances. They're gonna send how much fucking money for missiles? But the babies we already got, we're not gonna fucking feed. We already don't feed the babies. And the government's out here saying we're under-babied. We're not under-babied, we're underpaid. You want more babies? Fucking pay us. Give us the money to feed our fucking kids. Could you try that? Could you think that one through? Could you pull up one Excel spreadsheet that says pay the moms and dads and they'll fuck more? Who wants to fuck right now with these bills? Who wants to, huh? Who wants to nut and have it count? Right now, when any moment your fucking job can be taken by AI or because of some fucking tariff, because some psychopath from the Epstein plane decides on a willy-nilly whim that he's mad at Canada or some shit. Over and over again, I keep getting told, it's our fault. It's our fault that America's this way. Well, it's real fucking crazy. When I look at this government, with how much fucking money they make and how many fucking vacations they get to use, tell me how we don't get paid family leave. Tell me how the minimum wage at $7.25 just makes just enough sense. Have Dr. Oz of all fucking people standing next to RFK Jr. telling us that we're under-babied and we need to do work. Fuck you. Do your job.
Right, now welcome to my YouTube commentary. Thank you so much for being here. I know there's a lot of YouTube channels you could watch, but you have decided to click on this video because something is here, and I salute you so much for deciding that. Now let's sink this in. The very storm that black people were forced to sail through, the very darkness that black people were forced to pass through, the very torn and thin roads that black people are forced to pass through for centuries. The storm of poverty, the storm of fear, the storm of confusion, the storm of injustice. Right now, that storm is swallowing the same people who built those waves. It is swallowing the same people who put darkness there. Okay? Now, kings and queens, I hope you are doing okay. Today's message is not just about revenge. No, we are not talking revenge. Black people do not revenge. But today's message is about revelation. Because the world right now is witnessing something that we have been warning about, something black Americans have been warning about, something Africans have been warning about, something Caribbeans have been warning about for decades. And this is a great reversal where truth rises and hypocrisy drowns. Now, we are witnessing a great reversal, okay? White America is shaking. White people are shaking. They're crying about inflation, about mental health collapse, about social breakdown, about addiction, about homelessness. You know, but black people, this is not new to them. This is not new to black people. This is America's true face. Okay? It's only right now the mask has slipped off everyone to see. It's just right now the plagues, the angel of death is knocking on each and everyone's door, not only on Israelites. Okay? Now, let's say this. When you listen to Dr. Cloud Anderson, once say that when you control nothing, you are at the mercy of those who control everything. And for centuries, black people were forced to live beneath the weight of that system, but they didn't break. They adapted and they survived. Now the same system is turning on its own creators, and they can't handle that pressure. Okay? See, my good family, when black people, to be precise, black Americans faced centuries of slavery, faced centuries of Jim Crow, faced centuries of redlining, police brutality, and social exclusion, they build strength out of that struggle. Mind you, white people, white Americans, were living in privileges. So black people found joy in pain. Black people found rhythm in oppression and wisdom in chaos. And that's why the soul of black people is unbreakable, because it was forged in fire. But right now, let me tell you one thing. White America are drowning in waters that black people were born swimming in. They are drowning where black people were swimming in. They are packing, or they are panicking over economic uncertainty. They are protesting about freedoms being lost. They are overwhelmed by depression, loneliness, and fear. And yet, this is normality black people have been surviving since the beginning of America. Nothing new here. I see some comments, people saying nothing new. Yes, nothing is new here on black people. Okay? When the system worked for them, they call it the American dream. Now the system is starting to crumble, they call it the apocalypse. But for black people, it is just another Tuesday. Now that's the video I'm going to talk about today, family. America is crying. The same tears it made black people swallowed for 400 years. And the truth is, the more the empire trembles, the more the spirit of oppressed rises. Let's watch these clips of my brothers and sisters from America, and then we are coming back with more commentary.
I can't believe we had to be adults in the most unaffordable time in history. Like what luck is that? Every other generation got starter homes. We got starter packs for depression. Our parents were buying houses for the price of what we pay in rent now. Meanwhile, we're out here financing phones like they're real estate. Groceries, forget it. I walk into the store with $100 and leave with 2 bags of sadness and milk. Eggs cost more than my car insurance. Avocados are basically an investment property. So and don't even talk to me about rent. Rent is just a cover charge for existing. Like you're paying over $2,000 a month for the privilege of living in a box with suspicious plumbing. Utilities out of control, internet, forget it. Health insurance. This is an extortion racket. You can't even get sick, but being alive is already too expensive. We really got dealt the worst hand. We were told work hard and you'll have stability. Nah, we worked hard and we got, Spotify Premium, 3 streaming services and trauma. So, other generations got the American dream. We got the American receipt.
What the fuck are we doing, man? Is this how good it's supposed to be? Is this how our lives are supposed to turn out? If you go to college, you got debt until you're 50. If you don't go to college, you don't make enough money. People are fucking tired, man. I was talking to a friend. He's like, I don't even care about getting a paycheck anymore because it's like a slap in the face. You get your fucking paycheck and it's gone the same day, usually gone within an hour. And the minute you pay the bills, but they're already late, then you get an email saying your other bill's ready to be viewed. I couldn't afford the first bill. Now electric's gonna go up, interest rates are going up, energy's going up. Most people don't even want to fucking be here anymore. You wonder why people go to the doctor for mental health problems. You wonder why people are breaking down. Why people go to work and snap, flip out, start screaming at their bosses, and get fired. Why? Because people are at the end of the rope and they can't fucking take it anymore. How much more can you take? What are we going to do about it? Is this just the way it is? I don't want to live like this anymore. I don't think anybody fucking does. But does anybody have a solution? Is there anything we can do to change this? That's the hard part. No matter how much you work, it ain't a fucking enough. The problem is, and I thought about this today, we don't make enough money. There's not enough money to pay everything and have a penny left over. You're always fucking negative. And what are we gonna do about it? I need somebody to tell me because I don't know anymore.
Why are we even paying for health insurance? I go to the dentist and I'm getting 4 quarters done of teeth cleaning, $1,600. I'm like, great, I have insurance. Blue Cross Blue Shield, the best. I give them all the insurance information. They're like, well, you're going to have to go ahead and pay for it, and then insurance will reimburse you for a portion of it. I'm like, how much? What portion? Well, we'll just have to submit everything to the insurance company and, see what they're going to reimburse you. We don't know. $1,600 fucking dollars. You know how much the insurance company gave me back? $200. $1,400. I'm paying $300-400 a week for a family insurance plan. What the fuck is going on with health insurance, guys? The deductibles are ridiculous. I honest to God think it would have been cheaper if I just told them I don't have any insurance at all. Can someone please tell me what the hell is going on with health insurance in America? Like, this is getting out of hand. Love ya.
Watch this.
If you still think Donald Trump is a good president, then I'm going to be honest with you. You are either completely uneducated, willfully ignorant, or a racist bigot, or you've got some serious mental issues going on. And this isn't just opinion anymore. This is documented reality. That man has done more damage to the working class than most people even realize. While he waves his flags and talks tough, he's been gutting your rights, your wages, and the protections behind closed doors. He stripped away overtime protections from millions of workers. He gave your bosses the legal right to steal your tips. He sabotaged the labor board that once defended you and handed that power over to billionaires and corporations.
Do you know how absurd it is that we have property taxes and vehicle registration every year? I want to set a scenario for you real quick, just to see how this feels. Imagine you want a brand new laptop and you go to Best Buy and you spend $1,500 cash and you buy this laptop. And you go home and you open up the laptop that you own, that you worked for and you bought and you owned and paid taxes on, and you own it. And the next day you get a letter in the mail from the IRS, and the IRS goes, hey, we saw you bought a $1,500 laptop. You owe us $10 a month in perpetuity. And if you don't pay the $10 a month, we're going to take your laptop. So you're basically just renting it from us. What if you rented an apartment and bought a $1,000 sectional couch, and you're so excited and you're sitting on that couch and there's a knock at the door and it's an IRS agent going, hey, we saw you bought a $1,000 couch. You owe us $5 a month in perpetuity. And if you don't pay the $5, we're going to take your fucking couch. That's what they do with housing. That's what they do with our vehicle. You can work 30 years, pay off your fucking house. It's worth $400,000 and you have to pay $500 a month in perpetuity, and the $500 goes up every couple of years. And if you don't pay it, they can take your fucking house. With our car, we register it, get our license, we pay tax, which I agree with, but then every year we need to renew our tags. And if you don't renew your tags and spend $150 a year, you can get pulled over, potentially lose your license, and be fined. We don't even own our vehicle. We don't even own our houses. These are the most intrusive taxes. It's the freedom part for me that pisses me off. I was just thinking about that. I go, how bizarre would that be? With everything we bought, if we had to pay $1 or $10 or $30 a month, and if we didn't pay the government, they'd come and take our property. But yet we allow that with housing and cars.
Think about this. If you have 13 million undocumented immigrants or illegal aliens, if that's what you want to call them, those 13 million people leave. That's 13 million people that are not buying products, that are not going to our groceries, that are not going to our restaurants, buying our gas, that are not paying rent here in our country, that are not buying clothing, they're not shopping at Walmart, they're not shopping. They're gone. So what then happens to American jobs? If you lose 13 million consumers like that, then there's going to be layoffs. Then these businesses are all going to be affected because their revenues go down. If these people are paying $66 billion just in taxes, to our states and our federal government, what do you think they're consuming? Those taxes are a tiny percentage of what their actual spend in this country is. Though it may be less than 10% of what their spend is, which could put their spend, I'm making this up, I have no idea, their spend could be $600 billion that just marches out of the country. No, that is kicked out of the country aggressively and rudely. We don't benefit from this war on immigrants.
Now, welcome back. Before I start, allow me to quote something. This is a Dr. Cornel West quote. He said this, that justice is what love looks like in public. Okay? Justice is what love looks like in public. And right now, the collapse we are seeing isn't distraction. It is justice doing its work in public. The winds of karma are strong and the tables are turning, and the same America that taught black people how to endure pain is now learning to the meaning of survival. Okay? Now, I'll say this, family. The drowning of white America, this is when the power turns against its own masters. Okay? Because this is not just about economics or politics, but it is something spiritual again. It is psychological and historical. For hundreds of years, white America built a system designed to keep black people gasping for air. Black people were being choked. No air. Oh no? And they built the water deep enough for black people to drown. Through slavery, through segregation, through systematic poverty, but shallow enough for them to walk over safely. Now, the tide has turned, and the same waters that were used to destroy are rising over their own head. When we quote Malcolm X, in 1964, he warned and said that the chickens are coming home to roast. He wasn't talking about revenge. He was talking about cause and effect of what they are doing. When a nation plants seeds of greed, when a nation plants seeds of hatred and exploitation, it will harvest chaos. Okay? And that harvest is here right now. Look at the data. Homelessness among white Americans has increased over 30% in several cities and this is a pandemic. Mental health crisis, drug overdose, suicides, financial collapse. It is spreading across communities that once saw themselves as untouchable. And meanwhile, black communities, though still fighting, but have developed resilience, community bonds, and spiritual endurance that the mainstream can't explain. Okay? I will quote Dr. Joy DeGroy, called it post-traumatic slave syndrome, and the idea that generational trauma shaped our behavior, but also our strength. White America never had to build that kind of survival psychological, but they were taught comfort, not endurance. So when struggle finally visits them, they call it the end of the world. They call it the end times. Okay? But family, this is what happens when privilege meets pressure. This is what happens when you spend generational or generations benefiting from inequality. You don't know how to live without it. So when balances come, it feels like drowning. And here's the irony. Black people were always labeled lazy. Were always labeled they're complaining. They're playing victim. But right now, let me tell you for fact. As white Americans flood social media crying about inflation, creating videos about government betrayal, job losses, and hopelessness, they sound exactly like the people they used to mock. Right now, they are saying the system is broken. The government doesn't care about them. The elite are controlling everything. And they sound familiar. It sounds familiar because that's what black people have been saying since day one. Dr. Cloud Anderson once explained that you can't be equal in a system that you don't control. Okay? And now white Americans are finally discovering what life feels like outside of control. Inflation eats away at their savings. Jobs are vanishing to automation. Healthcare debts buries families. Young white people protest for the same justice their ancestors denied to others. It is not coincidence. This is the full circle of history. So when you build a nation on equality, eventually that imbalances collapses on everyone. Okay? Black people learned long ago how to swim. They learned long ago how to live like with less, you know. They learned how to share more and still laugh through the pain. And that's why black people sing through struggle. That's why black people music have soul. That's why our art has fire, you know, and love has death, because we learned to breathe underwater. White America, on the other hand, is only now learning what to do, or what water feels like. So, and instead of learning to swim, they are panicking. And when you panic while you are inside water, you will die. You will drown and drown at go. Okay? The truth is, what is happening right now is not punishment. Okay? It is just awakening. America is being forced to face its reflection, and the reflection shows a people who thought they were chosen by power. And right now they are being tested by survival. Okay? A quote from Dr. Cornel West. Dr. Cornel West once said this: you can't lead people unless you love people. You can't save people unless you serve people. And white America never truly served humanity. It served supremacy. And right now, as the system crumbles, the ones who knew service and love through struggle, those are black people, are standing strongest. Last man standing. Family, what we are seeing right now is not chaos. So let's not think it's chaos. What we are seeing right now is not chaos. No. It is correction, and every empire that builds itself on exploitation eventually faces the same cleansing flood, you know? And then the only difference is that while others drown, black people are rising. Africa is rising because we were born in the water. You understand what I'm saying? Let me talk something about something historical here, because I love history. The historical irony how black people build strength in the storms that now swallow America. You know? That's what I'm going to talk about. Because what broke others became the very thing that built black people. You know that? Okay? What was meant to drown black people became the training ground for survival. When white Americans panic about losing jobs, about losing homes or status, they are facing the same storms that our ancestors endured without freedom, wealth, protection. And yet they survived. Yet they endured with faith, with rhythm, with vision. Professor John Clark said history is not everything, but it is the starting point. History is the clock that people use to tell their political and cultural time of day. And if we look at the clock right now, it is striking midnight for the empire and sun rises for the children of Africa. The empire, it is midnight, and Africa, the children of enslaved Africans, the children of Africa, it is the sunrise. You hear that? Think about this. Enslaved Africans built America wealthy with their bare hands and blood. They built it while being denied basic humanity. They turned pain into power. They built songs to remember freedom when they couldn't speak it. They built families in chains and still raised prophets, inventors, and leaders. And when white America faced the first depression in the 1930s, they called it tragedy. You know? But for black America, depression was just another life itself. Black people survived every economic collapse because they were never allowed to fully rise within their system. Pain became a blessing in disguise. It trained us to live independent of illusions. See, my family, when a people are forced to live off crumbs, they learn how to make a feast out of nothing. Okay? And when they are denied wealth, they build wealth in spirit. When they are denied comfort, they find joy in community. And that's why black people smile the deepest and laugh the loudest, even in struggle. Because our joy was never bought. Our joy was born. You get me? Now contracts that with modern white America, many of them were raised in comfort, in illusion of stability, you know. They were told that America will always take care of them. And now that illusion is cracking. Students' loans is eating up everyone. Homelessness, crumbs is spreading across suburbs. Families choosing between rent and food. Depression rates doubling in young white communities. So they are calling it American decline. But to black people, it's just the truth finally visiting the homes of those who built the lie, you know. And Dr. Amos Wilson once said, if you want to understand any problem in America, you must first start with the history of slavery. And that's exactly where the root lies. Because America's wealth, America's comfort and middle class dream were built on black labor and Africa exploitation. And when the foundations start cracking, the whole building trembles. Okay? Dr. Francis Cress said this, I will quote, "The system of racism is designed to maintain white genetic survival, but survival without soul is hollow. And black people learn survival with soul, survival with culture, with faith, with rhythm. And that's why, while others panic, we adapt." Family, I want you to understand this thing deeply. We are not celebrating their suffering. I am not celebrating the suffering of white people. But we are witnessing balance. Nature always restores balance. There's a rebalancing that is happening. You can't suppress one group forever without eventually collapsing under the weight of your own injustice. Okay? And that's what's happening right now. And look at how poetic the universe is. When they enslaved us, they made us build ships, fields, and cities. And now those same skills, those same craftsmanship, creativity, invention are powering black innovation across the world. Okay? And when they denied us land, we learned to own businesses. When they denied us education, we taught ourselves truth. And every wound became wisdom. So when the system falls, black people don't fall with it. Black people rise from it because we never built the system, or black people were never built by the system. Black people are built through the struggle. And white America are drowning not because water suddenly appeared, but because they never learned to swim without privilege. They never had to survive hunger, humiliation, or systematic denial. And now that tide is rising, they are realizing strength isn't born in comfort. It is born in fire. And that's where black people has always lived, in fire, turning flames into light. Allow me to quote what James Baldwin once said: "The most dangerous creation of any society is the man who has nothing to lose." And black people were turned into that man centuries ago. And from that place of nothing, black people found everything. They found unity, they found pride, they found purpose, and they found endurance. So yes, white America are drowning, but not because of punishment. They are drowning because they never learned to swim the truth. And the ones who already mastered the water, the black nation, are rising. For example, Africa, the teachers and the survivors. Now, I'll say this, as black people, we don't celebrate. We are here, we are creating, and we are rising. We are doing the work our ancestors left behind. Tell me what you think on the next on this topic. Until next episode, peace out.